By the way, before we get off the House of the Dragon topic, so I asked you this, like, this is the third time I'll ask you again, for podcast purposes again. I swear you were the one that brought this to my attention. I don't know if this was yours or you saw someone say it, but we also got word that the actor for Laenor is coming back for season 2. Maybe for a flashback, or maybe he's just, coming back because they want another scene with him. When we last left Laenor off, everyone thought he was dead, and he went off to live his life in peace, away from all this bullshit and do his own thing. But the fact that he's coming back, what do you think? Like, you had the idea that maybe he comes back with a mask on and, like,
So, obviously, like, the Laenor fake-out death that's one of those choices that Ryan Condal did that just did not work. It was a really dumb... It was a really, really dumb scene. Perhaps, I don't know which is dumber. Like, we kind of all know that the top 3 dumbest things that they do and did in the show is, and people probably rank them around differently, but top 3 dumb things are 1, Kristen Cole beating Joffrey Lonmouth to death in the middle of a party and having no consequences. 2. There's Rhaenys breaking through a floor with a dragon, and 3 is the fake out death of Laenor, like trying to murdering a random dude, and burning him up to pretend to be Laenor for reasons. I think we all kind of accept that those are the top 3 dumbest things in House of the Dragon.
Can I add one to that one? Like,
sure.
Misaria's accent, that's fucking ridiculous. I'll throw that one in there too. I fucking hated that. But I'm sorry, continue.
I mean, it's not like, plot breaking though. She just has a weird accent that wavers.
Wavers, that's big kind. But I'm sorry, continue. So, okay, the Joffrey Lonmouth beating was awful. Laenor's fake out death, and
Rhaenys breaking through the floor with her dragon. Like, we kind of accept, we kind of accept that those are the 3 worst aspects of season 1. I suppose, like, God mode Daemon in war is also pretty dumb, but I told you about how I was like watching the House that Dragon built, the behind the scenes, and it was just like, oh my god, they put
so much effort.
They put in so much work on some ideas that are so bad. I was like, oh man, there's so much work on that scene. So when Laenor got in his boat and started rowing off, I think, and most fans were like, what about his dragon? Isn't he telepathically bonded to a dragon? He would just leave his dragon.
What's the thing you said that maybe the telepathic bond doesn't have unlimited distance? It's somewhat like a.
He gets down to 4 bars, 3 bars, and
as he goes away. Yeah.
Uh-huh. As he goes away. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I suppose. It also kind of goes against Daenerys and how she was so very, very connected with her dragons and how she thought of them as her children and keep in mind Laenor hatched that frickin' dragon. I mean that thing he didn't just mount it late in life like that. He had that thing from a hatchling and he grew up with the thing. I mean in a simple sense, could you imagine a lot of people just leaving their dog?
Yeah.
And a lot of people would be like, I'd never leave my dog, Oh, really? You just, I'm sure someone will take care of it, but this is beyond that. He has a telepathic link to it. He rides the thing. He spent years riding around it, on it. And he just freaking is just okay, bye, So it's a little, so everybody's like, how does that work? How does it work that one person has a telepathic bond in the books? They're it's 1 dragon per rider. How do you have some dragon seed mount Sea Smoke when he's still bonded to Laenor? I imagine Sea Smoke is sitting on a cliff, and every time a ship comes by, he starts barking, and he's like, oh, is that Laenor? Is that Laenor? Oh, and then it's not Laenor. And you're like, you know? So the theory, like some people are like, well, maybe we can like get rid of that plot hole by having Laenor return in disguise as like his own dragon seed or something as a new.
That's not possible because we have a confirmation that Adam of Hull is being played by a completely different actor. Yeah. Unless House of the Dragon casting team and Ryan Condal are playing 4D chess with us.
Right. Or they swap some dragons and dragon riders around and swap some names around or whatever. But yeah.
Well, what they could do is still keep that whole connection thing with Sea Smoke and Laenor where people try, but it refuses to let anybody bond with it, or maybe being away from Laenor causes it to lash out more so than any of the other wild dragons because that connection is still there. So I could see Adam of Hull getting a new dragon created just for the show, but either way, we will get an answer to this, and I hope it comes from George. If it's like somewhat like a Wi-Fi connection, and because Laenor strayed too far, the signal was lost, and now anyone can bond with it, or the opposite. So it'll be answered one way or another.
Yeah, who knows, So, I mean, people kind of... I think Ryan Condal has been kind of anal about the dragons, where like a lot of the actors are like, I can't remember these like names. Can we like change the names around? And he's like, no, dude. People are going to know if we change the dragon names around. I think people would know if like we start swapping around dragons and saying, oh, this person rides this one and this person rides this one. Weirdly, more than anything else, I think like more than even casting choices and what characters do and when they die and their ages and everything and like which dragons are ridden by whom like makes a difference.
Funny enough, some of the dragons are actually super easy to remember their names, like Sheep Stealer, Sea Smoke, Sunfire.
Oh yeah.
Then you have fucking Caraxes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the Sunfire. I mean, a few of them. Like if you're just looking at a big list, I could see people confusing them. Like Sunfire. There used to be a dragon called Quicksilver. Sometimes. Some of them have pretty boring names, considering that, like, there's Silverwing, but there's also Quicksilver and
Tessarion, Vermithor.
Right, and then you get all the Valyrian names that kind of run together, Arax, Taraxes, kind of stuff. So yeah, it's I mean. You and I know them all, but it took some time. It
was easy for me. As someone who grew up with Pokemon and is a huge fan of Pokemon and Digimon, all that crap, it's easy for me to get these bullshit names down, no problem. But, for some of the casuals, older fans who don't really give a fuck, it's a bit difficult, so.
Right. And so when you take Sheep Stealer to her second evolution, she gains the special move, Outrage.
How the fuck do you know Outrage? Like, I'm still amazed that you know Mammoth Swine and Empoleon. Like, you mentioned it one time on the stream. I was like, what? Those are like Gen 4? How the fuck does he know Gen... Because everyone fucking knows Bulbasaur and Pikachu and shit. And like Squirtle, sure. But how the fuck do you know Empoleon and Mammoth Swine? God, and Outrage? Where do you get this information?
I mean, I told you I play Go, so...
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I know all this shit.